Hi, my name is Jeff Sipe, and I have over 10 years of recruiting experience, including 5 years at Google. In this video, 3 tips for how to practice effectively for an interview. Hang on for the third tip. It's really important and the most impactful. So let's dive right in. All of these tips are going under the assumption that you have opened up a Google Doc, you have typed out your great examples in using the STARL method, and that you are really prepared with your examples. Don't go into the practice without preparing your examples because it will just take longer. So tip 1, I want you to time yourself. This simple trick can be really, really impactful. Typically, short answers coupled with follow-up questions is the most effective strategy in an interview because it keeps you super short and super concise. So, most common type of interview question, behavioral interview question, 2 to 3 minutes. If you can chop it down even more, great. But if you're going over 3 minutes, you're probably providing additional information that's just not necessary. And if this sounds wrong, you're probably one of the people that really needs to work on just condensing your answers a little bit. So grab your cell phone, open up a new tab in Google, start a timer, and this will teach you really how to thin out your answers. If your answers are really long, you're probably providing extraneous details that are just, they're unnecessary. And where this most often occurs is within the situation and task. The situation should be clear and brief, task very clear and brief. Focus more on your actions, the ultimate results, what you learned and how you applied it. The situation, honestly, it's the one item that you can really chop down and make your answers more streamlined. And really, when you think about it, I actually like the STARL Q method because you're building into your examples some follow-up questions to make sure that your interviewer is just really satisfied and you guys are moving forward in an efficient path. Tip 2, video yourself. I used to be against this tip, but what I found is don't take this step as an overwhelming step. Video and record yourself for 3 minutes. Try one question. Just video yourself for one question, and what you may notice is you are looking away from the camera or you keep touching your face or any of these little things. If you can remove one of those items, it's going to be an uptick in your success. And I think people envision videoing themselves for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I wouldn't do it that way. I would try answering one question. If you feel like you got that question done, great. Try another question, see how it goes. But if you can pick up on a couple tips, it's great. So you've set really the stage for tip 3. You've really condensed your answers. You've gotten them down to a short timeline. You video yourself to pick up on any little nuances, any little weird things you're doing with your body language. And so tip 3, practice with another human being. I just want to pause on this item for a second. I honestly believe that about 99% of people do not take this step if you collectively look at everybody who's interviewing. And that is just crazy. This is the step that is going to teach you the most and get you the most prepared. And so you don't have to do this in person. You can definitely do this via video. Video is basically almost as impactful as doing it in person. If you can do it in person, great. If not, do it via video. And the big piece here is if you are going to ask somebody to do this favor, if you're not going to hire a coach to do it, which is probably the best path to take, but if you don't have the money or you're just trying to get it done and practice with a family member, a friend, a significant other, a current or past colleague, really set them up for success by coming up with a list of questions for them, scheduling it on the calendar, and offering them to buy them a coffee or buy them lunch or buy them a beer, right? You have set the stage where you are putting it all together so that they don't really have to think a lot about it. They can just hop on the video, they have a list of questions, and you say, hey, I created sections. And the sections are domain specific, behavioral, and then ultimately open-ended. And yes, you will have seen the questions before, but build a really big list. Have this good Google Doc of all these questions and just say, pull randomly from that list. If you've prepared on those questions before, great. It will just be an opportunity to get better. The reason why this piece is so important is because I think it's sometimes difficult to get people to kind of step in and want to help you in this way. But if you put everything together for them and say, hey, if you can just hop on video for a half an hour with me tomorrow after dinner and we can practice this, this would be great. And your uptick in success will be amazing. My clients typically from session 1 to session 2 really have a huge uptick. And by the third or fourth mock interview that we do, they are so much better in terms of their efficiency, organization, their clarifying questions, their follow-up questions, reiterating the question. And it's really not a lot of time. I mean, if you think about doing even 4 mock interviews, that's 3 hours. You wouldn't spend 3 hours preparing for a job or a career that could really change your life. It's not a lot of time. And I really like to take pause on this third item because I give this coaching all the time. But so often people aren't taking this step. I didn't used to take this step. And now I know how important and how impactful it can be. I wanted to keep this super short. I hope these 3 tips really help. Good luck and always keep practicing. Thanks so much.